Penawda, good afternoon. Welcome to the final session of the day, the final session of the week in the Wales Tech Week. If you are on social media, please take any pictures throughout the session, put it on your social media. Use the hashtag Wales Tech Week. It is being recorded, it is being uploaded onto the higher platform, and there'll be a chance for anyone to ask any questions towards the end, about the last 10 minutes. Again, I'll keep an eye on that. So the name of the session is Cracking the Cyber Code, Carving Your Unique Journey into Security. And our panel, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 2 in the front here as well, 6, 7. But to chair the panel, we have the business manager of Thales. Please welcome Leanne Connor.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon all. It is afternoon, isn't it? Yeah. Good afternoon all. I'm Leanne Connor. I'm the business manager for Thales in Ebbw. And I'm joined by a very esteemed panel this afternoon, which I will ask everyone to introduce themselves, just name, job title, and what your current status of studying or employment is, please.
Hi everybody. Whoa, that's quite loud. I'm Kirsty Perrett, and I'm the lead cyber engineer working for Leanne's team in Thales and Vale.
Afternoon all, I'm Callum Kershaw, and I'm cybersecurity consultant at Welsh Water, and I finished my education.
Hi everyone, I'm Tom. So I work for Thales. I'm a degree apprentice. I haven't long started at the company, and I work for some of the week and then go to university at the same time. I started off in Cyber College Cymru as well.
Hi guys, my name is Evan Parker, and I'm a full-time student at Ebbw Vale Blind and Gwent Learning Zone.
Hi everyone, I'm Caitlyn Wood, and I'm also a full-time student at Coleg Gwent.
Okay, so this session is all about cyber, and as you've just seen, we're all either working in cyber or studying in cyber. So can I just ask, who in the audience is either thinking about a career or studying something related to cyber? Yeah? Okay. Yeah? Brilliant. So I think what we're going to do is just give you a bit of an insight into the various different pathways that we've come and are now currently available for individuals wanting to either study or go into a career in cyber. I work for a cyber company in a non-technical role, so my role is very much about business management. When I was leaving school, I wanted to be a physiotherapist, so my journey into cyber has been very, very unique and different. Spent 26 years working in the public sector, and then came across this organisation called Thales, who were looking to invest in the Vale's area, and applied for a job and now work in cyber. So that's how my journey began. So I just want to ask the panel, what sparked your interest in cyber? And I'm going to start with you, Callum, if that's okay. And how did your journey bring you to where you are today?
Thanks, Leanne. So I think, first of all, my interest started or sparked when I was a degree apprentice at Fujitsu and realised the art of the possible. There's never a dull moment, should we say, in security, and there's always something new to focus on or to concentrate on. So my career started in Fujitsu in 2016 as a degree apprentice. I graduated in 2019 with a first class honours before I moved into Welsh Water as a cybersecurity consultant. But a bit about my journey in Fujitsu, it just wasn't straight into security. It was split across an whole part of the IT education system. So I started on a support desk, just providing support to customers before I went into a governance role. So just a generic IT governance role. And then that's really when I found my love for security and wanted to become an information security manager. I managed a lot of accounts across the UK and Europe for Fujitsu before I finally made the move to Welsh Water.
Brilliant. So did you always know that you wanted to do cyber?
Not until probably the second or third year of my degree, to be honest, when I had more exposure to the world of work and IT. Because I think security is still niche, it's still in infancy, and it's now sort of a buzzword as well. So everyone is trying to gain jobs, education, and understanding of security in a bit more detail.
Perfect. Thank you. So Kirsty, quite a non-traditional route into cyber, and I know you didn't want to be a physiotherapist, but cyber wasn't always your first choice in terms of a career path. Tell us about your journey and how you've got to where you are today. And can I just say, so Kirsty's just obtained her PhD in cybersecurity, so has come a very long way since your A-level time. So give us a bit of an insight into your journey, Kirsty.
Thanks, Leanne. I'm not that old, honest. Yes, as Leanne said, my journey was completely different. And no, you're correct. I did not want to be a physiotherapist. I'm just not cut out for that work. When I was doing my A-levels, I knew I loved biology. I absolutely loved biology and IT. Bit of a different there, but so that's where I took an A-level. And when I finished my A-levels, I wanted to be a biomedical scientist. I went to university for one day and realized that it wasn't all what it was made out to be. In fact, it shocked me, and it wasn't for me. So a day, and I dropped. At that point, I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I don't think many people do when they're 18. I think that's a problem with the schooling system. We sometimes not given enough exposure, I think, to the type of environments we might want to work in. And at this point, I was 18, I had no idea about cyber. I mean, I heard of it. I heard about hacking. I didn't think I was that clever to be doing stuff like that. And I thought you had to know a lot about maths. And I hate maths. I know I've just got a doctorship and using quantitative measurements, but I come to love it afterwards, and I'll explain in a sec. But yeah, so essentially I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I took a gap year, and that gap year turned into 12 gap years because I never knew what I wanted to do for 12 years. So I went to work for the NHS, as most people do in Wales. I knew I didn't want to be a nurse because, again, I'm not quite cut out for the blood. But I loved IT, so I just thought I'll pursue something else I know other than biology. So started off on a switchboard as a telephonist. And quickly moved through the ranks as a network engineer, telecoms engineer. I'd literally be jumping on top of lifts, installing Wi-Fi, installing fibre, BT lines running underground. I was the only female in Wales in the IT for the NHS ever. First female in Wales. That was a bit daunting, but again, pushed me to keep going, I think. And then when I knew what I wanted to do, I went and done my master's degree at the University of South Wales, straight in the deep end. Didn't do an undergrad because I had a few qualifications that I didn't need to do the undergrad, but they put me straight in on the master's. I'd done that part-time while I was working. And then I went and done my PhD, sponsored by Thales, which inevitably led me to work for them, and that's where I am today. It's a bit of a long journey, but it just goes to show that if you don't know what you've got to do, follow your passion.
But you've always had an interest in computers, and so it's following your passion and your interest. Okay, thanks, Kirsty. So, Tom, what sparked your interest in cyber? And how did you get to become a cyber degree apprentice with Thales? How did that journey progress?
So I'd say that journey sort of started in comprehensive school. So obviously when you first start, you have IT lessons. I sort of thought, I enjoy this. I always liked computers when I was a bit younger. I thought, let's give this a go. So I did computer science at GCSE in comprehensive school, and I thought, yeah, this is pretty good. I enjoyed it. So then I was looking for a college course, and I found Cyber College Cymru. I looked into it. I saw it was equivalent to A-levels. It's a BTEC course. And I liked the fact that the employers came in and sort of like helped us out. I thought that was pretty good. So I really enjoyed that. And then coming towards the end of that, Thales were offering an apprenticeship for people like me that had just finished A-levels or BTEC, and I did a bit of research into it. I thought, this looks good. So for 4 days a week, I work for Thales. I get moved around on rotations. So the good thing is, when I looked into this job, I was sort of like, I would like to do something cyber, but I'm not sure what. And that's the advantage of it. Every 6 months, I rotate around the company and do different placements. So 4 days a week, I'm working on projects. I'm doing my placement. And then 1 day a week, I'm pursuing my university degree. So whether that be the coursework, whether that be in person, getting taught lectures or watching lectures online, that's very good at the minute. I've only been doing it for about 2 months now, but I'm enjoying it so far. And I think it's good that in the schools we have these programs where you can, well, even secondary school do computer science. It sparks an interest in people. It's definitely sparked an interest in me. And I enjoyed it, so I thought I'd jump on the Cyber College Cymru course. Seemed like the next natural step because that's what I enjoyed the most in school, and that's how I've got to where I am today. So, yeah.
Thanks, Tom. And proving to be a very valuable member of the team.
Thank you.
So Tom mentioned Cyber College Cymru, which is a fairly new initiative. I think we're on the 4th cohort, sir?
Yes, the full.
So Evan and Caitlyn, Evan first, as Cyber College Cymru students, what sparked your interest in wanting to learn more and do an actual qualification in the world of cyber?
Well, I feel as if my journey with cyber hasn't been the smoothest. I'd say I started just by simply having an interest in computers because I've always been sort of quite techy in a way, like sort of growing up around sort of YouTube videos and like learning how to build computers, learning how to make software. I always had relatively a bit of an interest in it. And then when push came to shove in secondary school, I ended up taking ICT for GCSE, and it turns out I actually quite enjoyed it. So at the end of the day, I did go to sixth form before I came to college, and AS level, it's good. It wasn't my speed. So then obviously I would have come to college. I saw the course for Cyber Cymru, and I thought to myself, that sounds like what I want to do, because it definitely, as Tom said, it definitely gives you the opportunities more than, because I feel that sixth form sets you up for uni. Like, not saying that Cyber College doesn't set you up for uni, it does 100%, but it also gives you a lot more options like apprenticeships and gives you time to grow like that.
And Caitlyn, how did you first become interested in cyber?
I first became interested in cyber when I was young. I absolutely fell in love with tech, and I loved using the computers, programming, trying to sort out code. It was really a bundle of enjoyment that I found, whereas doing something else. And when I come to secondary school, I took GCSE IT, just like Evan. And doing that, I found that I really enjoyed it a lot more, and I wanted to explore it. So, because in this world now, IT and tech is everywhere. So if you want to do something or like a career, it's nice to have a tech background, or even if it's just knowing how to use a computer. And after I had finished in secondary school, I went out to college, and I was looking at the differences between the A levels and the BTEC. I looked at the IT courses on the A levels. They didn't really interest me. But when I seen the BTEC, which is Cyber College Cymru, I felt a lot of interest, and knowing that it would offer a lot more opportunities, in my opinion, I decided to choose that. And since then, I've absolutely loved it.
Okay, so the words Cyber College Cymru have been mentioned quite a few times, and Callum, like myself, you were there from the outset, and I know there's one or two in the audience that were also. Callum, how did Cyber College Cymru start, and why? What makes it different to other BTEC and college qualifications?
I think, first of all, it's a unique opportunity. There's a lot of people that don't get exposure to industry and valuable employers in college, Leanne, at a young age, majority from the age of 16 to 18. You normally go your traditional route, which is through college, into uni, and then into industry for however many years you work for. But I think it all started with 3 organisations. I'm previously a Fujitsu, Admiral and Thales, we all had different ideas of wanting to do something in Wales, because my backstory is I had to move to Reading for my opportunity, to move 120 miles away from home at the age of 18, which can be very, very daunting. To go into a global organisation like Fujitsu, there wasn't many opportunities that we knew of in South Wales. So the likes of Tom, who sat in the front row of the audience here, along with Steve Cottrell, Gareth Williams and Rob Norris, they're influential in sort of spinning up Cyber College Cymru, if you'd like to say. And where we are today is due to those people, but it started off as just an idea. And here we are, sat on the stage discussing Cyber College Cymru with over 120 students studying for a sort of either an apprenticeship or at least a BTEC in IT. And the guys on the end of the stage here are living proof of it, as well as Tom. Tom has come through and he is a real success story of Cyber College Cymru and trying to keep talent in Wales. You don't have to move away from home for a job and a career.
So part of Cyber College Cymru is that industry experts actually go into the classroom and deliver, parts of the curriculum. Tom, how does that help you in terms of the difference to a normal lesson? Those industry individuals coming in who are not teachers. How does that make a difference in terms of how you experienced your college course and then found your apprenticeship?
So personally, I just want to say to start with, I really think that was the highlight of the course. So it's not all about the academia and the learning when the companies come in. So a lot of it was just a bit of an insight of, here's what we do in the world of work. Here's how things work. This is what I get up to on a day to day. It sort of give you a bit of a brief on like how the world of work works. So, and then obviously there's some very valuable lessons taught as well. We had our sessions where we had tasks to complete, and it was handy when the industry would come in and they would sort of run us through a bit of a brief on it. And then if we get stuck, we could ask questions. They would help us out. It was pretty good. But honestly, one thing that might be underlooked or might not be so obvious that we get from the sessions is definitely the fact that we could just sit there and talk to people that are in industry, and they give us a valuable sort of lesson on, here's what I do day to day, here's what I'm up to, here's what you can expect to do, and just advice as well. Like, especially for this apprenticeship that I'm on, it was nice that Thales came into the college and advertised it to me, because I might not have thought of doing it without that, to be honest. And they sort of, yeah, Kirsty came in and swooped me into the interview. But I think it's good that there's that engagement. So you're not just finishing the college course, you're done. The lessons were very valuable, and it's nice to have a bit of a connection, of sort of a next step, bit of a direction for you to go into after you complete the course and after you complete college. So I think it's very valuable and really helps out the course.
Thanks, Tom. So, Evan, as a first-year student, and obviously not far into the term, how are you finding it, and how do you think it's going to benefit you having that industry engagement alongside your normal tutoring?
Yeah, exactly like Tom said, it is at the moment one of the highlights of the course. It's like it's drilled in quite early on that obviously these companies will be coming in, helping you out with your immersive labs or this, that, and t'other. They definitely open up a lot of gateways, let's say. Yeah, I couldn't find the right word, sorry. Gateways for future careers into cyber, because I know at the moment we've had Welsh Water come into our college and walk us through like certain labs and like what career paths you can choose. It's definitely a bang up way of getting to the interview stage of like cyber.
Absolutely. And so from an employer's perspective, and Kirsty is someone that goes in and delivers those sessions to the students, how do you see the value in terms of, because it's an investment for a company to send qualified individuals into a college to actually provide those teaching hours, that is an investment. What's the benefit that you see from it as an employer's perspective?
Okay, so the first question, in response to that, I feel for Cyber College Cymru it's a benefit. One, they get to use us as a sort of board to knock their ideas in, but also so that we can teach them the skills in which they're applying and learning, how that really can apply in the real world. I feel sometimes with school and with college, sorry, Mike, you're just taught a subject to pass that subject. And sometimes, which is why I honestly feel like I was rubbish at maths in school, because I didn't quite understand where maths worked and where it applied until you work in the real world and understand, oh, I wish I listened in maths. It sort of applies in cyber. The fact that when I was their age, I never had that opportunity, and it took me an all 12 years to understand what cyber was, why I would be good at it. I think that's brilliant. And I think for me, being able to provide that and having a company that is supportive of industry, it's brilliant that you want to support the Welsh economy. But also, for us as Thales, we find it very difficult to get the talent that we need. And it's often, you can go outside and look and employ people, but you never quite got that skills that you want from these individuals. So it's sometimes easier to, one, you're educating our economy and you're making STEM subjects available, but also for Thales' perspective, obviously we're here to make money essentially at the end of the day, and it's easier to homegrown your own talent. So yes, it costs money sending me in to teach cyber college, but also it saves the money in the long run, because when we're educating, we're getting more people into the team of relevance. We got an extra pool of people that we can choose from, that we know ourselves because we've taught, which is why Tom is here. That he's a good damn engineer, so we want to employ him, right? So, we can actually see if they're, the real skills and who's passionate and who we could sort of grow.
So I think the message of sort of bringing industry and education and academia much closer together is coming through quite strongly. And Callum, from your perspective, from the organisation, how has Cyber College Cymru benefited you as Welsh Water and your organisation, and obviously when you were with Fujitsu?
I think the easiest way to look at it or to say is the CSR aspect, your social responsibilities, but it's not. I'm from Ebbw, so I've got an invested interest in the area, Leanne. We're all local to Blaenau Gwent on stage as well, and not only Blaenau Gwent, but South Wales. So it's about investing into people in South Wales for our supply chain, like the likes of Thales, Admiral, Bridewell, all support Welsh Water as well. So it's about ensuring that we get the best people in the best positions in Wales to ensure that we've got a constant streamline or pipeline of students.
Absolutely. Thanks, Callum. So before we go to a Q&A session, I'd just like to ask each of the panel, if you could give yourself one piece of advice, if you could give your younger self one piece of advice, acknowledging that we do have some very young people on the panel. So just think about perhaps 18 months ago. What would it be? And we'll start with Caitlyn on the end, if that's okay.
I think a piece of advice that I would give myself 18 months ago would be to never give up, and to just trust the process and to enjoy it while you can. Because at the end of the day, you might not get this opportunity again, or it might come up, but not as exciting as this one. So just take it all in and just believe in yourself.
Thanks, Caitlyn. So Evan, what piece of advice would you give yourself?
I suppose just follow what you like doing. Well, that's what I took a while to do, obviously doing A levels, but then I thought to myself, I could actually find something out of this college course which I both enjoy and I get something out of in the long run. So honestly, the word I'd say is don't give up. Just keep going. Go for it.
And not to feel pressured into going down a certain route.
Exactly, Leah.
Absolutely. Okay. What about yourself, Tom?
I'd say, if I had to give myself advice, just keep dedicated. If you're doing something, sometimes it gets hard and you sort of doubt yourself, like, am I good enough for this? Can I keep doing this? It's getting a bit hard here, I'm struggling. Just keep powering through, put the effort in, get the work done. You're going to thank yourself in the future and it can get you places. Just keep your head down, have focus, have goals, and you can't go too far wrong.
Thank you. And Callum, perhaps looking a little bit further back than 18 months, what advice would you give your younger self?
Thanks, Leanne. I think sort of cyber security is a very small world. There's always someone that knows someone, so your first impression is the best impression. So grab every opportunity with both hands and introduce yourself to as many people as possible, because I guarantee it'll pay off in the end.
Thank you. And Kirsty, what would that advice be?
Mine end too, not as long as Callum. For me, it was keep pursuing what you enjoy, because if I didn't pursue what I enjoyed, I would have still been doing biomedical science, and I knew that wasn't for me. You tend to do well in something if you enjoy it, and it's a lot easier going to work when you actually enjoy it instead of tedious time keeping, looking at your watch. Look, we only got one life, just live it. We all got to make money. That's inevitable. So try and make it by doing something you actually like and contribute to our world.
And being the oldest member of the panel and looking the furthest back. So, yeah. No. My piece of advice would be, picking up on what Evan said, don't feel pressured into that, having that plan and sticking to that plan. My intention was to leave school, do my A-levels, go to university, become a physiotherapist. Things didn't work out that way. I started working at 18 and then just followed the opportunities that were in front of me, and just made sure I made the most of those opportunities, which has proved for me to be a successful way to go. So yeah, my advice would be to just think about the opportunities in front of you and take them. So I think thank you very much for everyone's participation. I think we're going to go out if there are any questions from the audience.
While we get them, my piece of advice would be don't be afraid to try and fail.
Absolutely.
Because if you fail, then you carry on. I'm in my late 50s and I still have no idea what the hell I want to do. So it's just a matter of trying. And if you fail, then you pick yourself up and you start again. So, sir, the question.
You've all highlighted different routes, different qualifications, A-levels, BTECs, etc. Coming from a secondary background, I know the inadequacies of those qualifications as they go at present. So even though Tom Computer Science is great, there are some elements of it which are pretty old, or IT, BTEC, same thing. They're all very different. However, what skills from across your education do you think would have benefited you in your role now? So for example, data analysis. So what skills do you think you've gathered from your previous kind of education experience that have helped you in this role now?
Is that to anyone specifically, Reece?
It's the three on the end, because they're the youngest. And
Charlie.
So to sum up, you want us to sort of say we've all done different backgrounds. What skills we find useful in our current roles, yes?
Yep.
Okay. So I'd say a lot of the skills, a lot of them relate to cyber, but a few skills I picked up don't necessarily relate to cyber either. Like, for example, a big skill you need in a role like this, which is overshadows, is, social skills. You need to speak to people, you need to relate to people, you need to be able to listen. You won't get far if you don't listen. It's not just cyber related. There's a lot of cyber skills I've picked up. Like, for example, in my earliest memory of something that's directly linked to my role would be in GCSE when I did computer science. So we learned programming, which gave me a very, very good foundation to then move on to college, where we had to learn Python. So I learned quite a lot of the programming in GCSE. So that sort of set me up, give me a bit of, okay, I've done this before, I can get used to it. So that was very handy as well. But I'd say something that definitely gets overlooked with quite a lot of jobs in general, not just this one, you need to have the ability to speak to people, to, don't ask, don't get, try things, fail. It's not just the academic stuff.
I feel as if quite a bit of my cyber education, of course, comes from college. A lot of it was a little bit of GCSE, don't get me wrong, like most of it. But again, like Tom said, social skills are always very much present. You need them in life and everything. I suppose what makes my route different from Tom's, I suppose, would be that obviously with A levels and all, I took ICT, music, and chemistry. Now look at me. I don't look like a music student. I don't look like a chemistry student. I don't know if I look like an IT student, if I'm honest with you, mate. But I think those other two subjects did help me in a sort of way, because that sort of showed me that highlighted ICT, in my opinion. It highlighted it as the wow, I'm really excited for this one, and these two I'm still excited for, but not really as much. And that's why I transitioned to Coleg Gwent, and I thought I could transfer my skills to my Coleg Gwent course, because in GCSE and A level, I felt like I didn't learn as much of programming or data analyzing, or let's say you have software engineering and hardware. Like I basically did none of hardware during GCSE and stuff. So that's how my skills definitely got upped after I went to Coleg Gwent. I feel like that was just a big leap from what I did in A levels and GCSE.
I think the skills that I acquired to sort of help me would be programming, just like Tom and Evan. Because it gave me that sort of security and that little boost, so that when I transferred into college, to Cyber College Cymru, I knew like just that little bit, and I feel like that helps me. And I know now that like with that skill, I can do a lot more, and I'm able to help others who don't know a lot more than what they want to.
Okay, thank you, sir. Sorry, go on, Kirsty, quickly.
Yeah, sorry, I know you don't want to directly ask us, but I also feel I need to put another spin on that, in that sometimes you don't need any cyber skills to come into cyber, and Leanne's a prime example of that. The skills I had before I went into cyber wasn't cyber. I didn't even know what cyber was. But I felt like my NHS journey and understanding how computers can help people, and how you can help people to do better, you know, physical aids, medical aids, breathing apparatus, is all done through design, engineering, technology. So yeah, cyber is an element of all of that. And you can apply it afterwards. So I don't want anybody to be put off to think, I don't know how to program, because I absolutely hate programming. But yeah, I configure network switches for 12 years. But I don't like software programming. And, you know, I'm a doctor now. Hey, so I've done pretty all right from not knowing programming. I'm just saying I don't want anybody to be put off by thinking they might not be good at a certain topic like programming, which a lot of people like now. Yeah, so just do what you're good at.
So basically, there is no traditional path into cyber. And I have to say, the three of you being the youngest here, you should be very proud of yourselves. How you come in across today, by the way. You're very articulate and very intelligent.
Absolutely.
I really, really do think so. Can I just quickly become to Thales? You're with Thales, obviously involved in aerospace and defence and security. We're here today on the Wales Tech Week. How many Thaleses are there in Wales? That is, you know, how many opportunities are there in Wales of the same degree, of the same class, if you like, as Thales? Is Wales a good place to get into cyber?
Absolutely. I think the cluster within South East Wales specifically is very strong and very, very big, and it's growing. I mean, from where we started 5 years ago in Vale as Thales, it was just me. We're now up to 30 people. The centre that we have in Vale is the Global Research and Development Centre for Cybersecurity in Industrial Control Systems.
Right.
So that evolution of the, cyber attacks, cyber threats is only going to get worse. So the protection is only going to be in more demand. So the opportunities are going to grow. But just to pick up on Reese's point around, what skills have you learned and acquired that would, do you well in your role now? One thing I would say is that many organisations now, and Thales, is one in particular, if you haven't got the skills and experience, but you have the right behaviours and you demonstrate the right behaviours and the right will, then that's as important.
Yeah.
We can teach you skills.
Yeah, we can teach the skills. We can give people experience, but in terms of your approach to work, your application, and your behaviours, that's the bit you can't teach, and that's what's really important.
I haven't seen many apprentices with a suit and tie, so good for you. Do we have any further questions? Anybody else? We got a few minutes left. Anybody? Don't be shy. Don't be shy. So I presume, the main message, I suppose, again, is follow your dreams, follow your passions, as you three are. But Thales and other companies are opening, I think you said, opening gateways into all kinds of careers. And as you said, Leanne, now is the time, isn't it, really? Because unfortunately,
Absolutely.
because of what's happening around the world, it's on trend, as it were.
Yeah.
It's very on trend.
Yeah, and cyber is a really exciting place to work.
Yeah.
What we do in Ebbw isn't about your IT and your laptop security. It's about looking at your critical national infrastructure, your water plants, your railways, your nuclear plants, and how are they secure and resilient. The things that we rely on every day to actually live our lives. That's the bits that we're interested in. That's the bits that we secure.
Okay.
I think we've got a question in the
Yes.
front.
Yeah, so I was just wondering if you all had any advice for uni students after getting their degrees and going into cyber, like how to go about getting like opportunities and stuff afterwards, if that makes any sense.
So from a Thales perspective, we have a number of programs that we run, not only sort of from the Vale site, but from all of our UK sites. So we have sort of graduate programs, we have year in industry placements. What I would say is reach out. Reach out. If you don't know someone, then, find an email, find someone to actually ask the question, what can you offer me? What are my opportunities? Just don't be afraid to ask. But there are, in addition to the apprenticeship schemes, and general recruitment processes, yes, we have the graduate placements and year in industries. We also do bursary awards. So, there's an application process annually for a bursary award with Thales, where you then spend your 4 weeks in the summer coming to do a project with us. So there are lots. Look online, and find someone to ask. Don't be afraid to ask.
And look out for things like this, events like this, basically. They do happen throughout Wales. I don't know where you're from. So you got a question?
Yeah, obviously the talk is about cyber, and we talked about the Coleg Cymru course, which I was part of as well.
Oh.
And I was just wondering, it says security. Are there many options within Thales in particular, because you're on the panel, for forensic students as well as security? Because we see a lot of promotion of security in all categories, but there doesn't seem to be many forensic opportunities outside of, things like the police and stuff like that. So are there those opportunities there?
Okay, so within our team now in Ebbw, we got 2 forensic students. They finished university. Adam, who was one of our best hackers, he done forensics. He also happened to be brilliant at hack the box. So we use him for that. On another side of the note, when we talk about cyber security, or when we talk about cyber, everybody associates it with security. Just remember, it's not just security. I think we automatically associate it with security because that's the common sort of denominator. But just remember, it could be anything that's digital. So you can have a career from forensics. Anything you can do in the real world, apart from physiotherapy, you can pretty much do in cyber. So that's forensics, mathematics for encryption. You can use, if you're interested in breaking and hacking things like I am, legally, that's an option. If you're interested in doing it illegally, that's also an option. You might go to prison. But, there's so many different routes. Like, the mathematics side of things, I wasn't so good at, but other people might love it. You got the software side of things, secure coding. But also remember, things that interact with the real world now, the lines between the cyber and the physical world are blurring. We are starting to see them come together. So anything you can do in one, you can do in the other. Even you know, the more simplest things are becoming sort of digital. Your doorbell, for example, your air fryer, your fridge, you know, things that shouldn't need to be on the internet are on the internet. So anything you can think of, you could probably do.
Okay, I think you can do physiotherapy online as well. I'm sure you can. Sir, do you have a question?
Hi, so this is for the three young people. So just wanted to get an understanding that as you start to build your skills and talents and you start to pursue career paths, what kind of career paths would you look at in terms of, would you go to private sector or would you look at like public sector? And if so, why would you choose which option? Just to get an understanding. Thank you.
I've already made my choice. I'm in private sector, but I chose this path because, well, Thales gave me good options. You know, they gave me the ability to define my career in the future by moving around the company, different placements, different roles within the industry. So I get to try out if I like this, I don't like that. And also gives me university as well. I was very happy about that, getting that. So that's why I chose the path I did. I thought it would be beneficial to me.
The truth is, I'm not too sure about my path right now, but there are obviously a lot of gateways into private sector and open sector. I suppose with the opportunities Welsh Water and Thales are providing us in our college course, there's not many places we can go where we don't have an option, really, I suppose, because obviously there are just so many opportunities. There are so many doors dotted here and there. They're like it's hard to not walk through and at the end of the day. But personally, I've always wanted to become a teacher. I've always said that I would want. Now, admittedly, well, that's not like going into like private sector and going into like Welsh Water and Thales and stuff. I feel as if both Coleg, Gwent, and even Thales can teach me the social skills of course, being a teacher, and like because obviously, like they come into our college and like they talk to us about what Thales does, and that obviously inspires me to want to teach people about ICT and want to teach people about cyber.
I think I would more likely go into the private sector, just like Tom, as well as the rest of us, because as Evan said, Welsh Water, Thales and Admiral, they've been coming into the college, giving us talks and sort of explaining about their company, what they do, how they help people. I think that really sparks my interest, and I want to help people, even if it doesn't mean that I'm not in the public sector. If I'm in the private sector, I'm still able to help them, and I just want to be able to help people so that they are reassured and they know that there's someone out there that is willing to help them if they do not know what they have to do.
I think the point is, and I'm sure you agree, you're so young at the moment. I would just say, take your time. As my mother said, the world's your lobster. So yeah. So thank you. But I understand where you would like to go, but take your time thinking about it. Would you agree, Leanne? Yeah, right. Okay. We have time for one more question. If anybody would like to ask a final question before we come to an end. No? Last chance? Oh, one quick question in the front here. Thank you, sir.
Right, the session, yeah, cool. All right. We've all, some people go through degrees. I'm going through a degree now as we speak. I was wondering, how are certifications with your industry?
Certifications within the cyber industry.
Last question. Put them on the spot. Well done, you.
Yeah, well timed.
So personally, when I was in Fujitsu, I went through ISO 27001 certification. So that's implementation and accreditation. I'm studying for my CISM to be a certified information security professional, but then they are the more governance routes, which my job takes me down rather than the more hands-on technical stuff. But there is obviously technical qualifications you can cover as well, but it's quite a broad question, so it depends on the area you're looking and the route you want to go down. Like just touching on earlier on, I can't program, but I work in security, so it shows it's a wide breadth of skill sets that you need to get a career in security. Just because you can't program or you're not technical, it doesn't mean you won't get a job.
And one thing I would say is that there's an awful lot of information online. So if you haven't visited the National Cybersecurity Centre website, have a look. There's a lot of resource and a lot of information available for you outside of your normal academic certifications and qualifications.
Good. Thank you, Leanne. Thank you for the question. Thank you so much for your participation. A round of applause for our panel, please. Thank you very, very much. That was our final session. I hope you've enjoyed the day. Please enjoy the rest of the day and the rest of the week. So thank you very much. Diolch yn fawr iawn.